Hello and welcome to the introduction related to my upcoming series of Winds of Change hard mode quests. In the first 10 seconds you saw the counter map. As time goes by I'll add more and more video links of quests to the position they take place in. I'll talk about hero bars and about general strategy facing the foes you have in Wind of Change hard mode. For more information check the description. Now let's talk about hero bars. My first hero I'm always using is Razah, because he's one of the two ritualists I have available, and he's just a basic supporter. He's responsible for supplying me with Splinter Weapon and Strength of Honor. I'll talk about that later. The only skill that might be a little irritating is Judge's Intervention, but he uses that on minions, so every time he uses it on a minion that is about to die because it has low HP, it will deal 140 holy damage for just 5 mana. That's a really good skill. The rest of the bar is pretty standard. Signet of Spirits supplies our other heroes, for example the Master of Whispers, with additional spirits for mind, body and soul, so they have more conditions they remove. The Master of Whispers is our AotL, with just a little bit of heal mixed in. We really want to avoid enchantments, so I chose a Necro Ritual Healer over a Necro Monk Prot. Just overall really strong skills. Putrid Explosion deals huge amounts of damage, especially combined with Putrid Bile. It's really strong when he casts it at 20 death magic. And next hero is Olias. He is the Curses, pretty much a support with Mark of Pain and a whole lot of heal. Our first res in the team, Pain of Disenchantment is a really strong skill. Cracked Armor is a really good skill. Pretty standard bar. Livia is the IV heal. It's pretty similar to Putrid Bile. Even though it's an elite, it deals a little bit more damage, has shorter cooldown. She's just a support. She has Wielder's Boon as the only really special skill, because it's quite strong in combination with Weapon of Warding or with Splinter Weapon. Recuperation is a strong skill, because it heals all your minions, it heals all your heroes, it heals all your allies. It's overall pretty strong, costs a lot of energy, but that's why we use a Necro and not a Ritual. Our next hero is our Ineptitude, that's Norgu. The bar is well known all over Guild Wars, it's pretty standard. I like Waste Not Want Not over the other energy signet. But that's just personal preference, the rest of the bar is pretty set in stone. The Panic Mesmer is also pretty standard, not much to discuss here. I like to have my res, one res on a Mesmer, because the 11 fast casting make him cast that quite fast, so it's a good emergency res in case your other healers are busy healing and can't take that time to res you at the moment. And the last hero is Xandra. One special skill here is Signet of Binding. You will be faced with a lot of enemy spirits from all kinds. The Afflicted will use lots of spirit, the Amphar will use lots of spirits, and the Ministry will use a lot of spirits as well. The rest of the bar is just a basic ST Ritualist who provides a big load of prot. In the process, for certain quests, I might swap out a Sense Strike for a second Signet of Binding, because it's just that strong, taking a level 27 spirit away from your enemies and adding it to your team. About general strategy. When facing Afflicted, you have to deal with a whole lot of death effects. Whenever an Afflicted dies, it's not just like in the Factions campaign that they deal a certain amount of damage to everyone surrounding them. They have additional effects. For example, if you kill an enemy assassin, they will buff all their allies to attack 25% faster and move 25% faster for about 10 seconds. If you kill an enemy monk, it will heal the enemies and remove hexes and conditions. If you kill an enemy necro or mesmer, it will remove enchantments from your group. If you kill an enemy ritualist, it will deal bonus damage to your spirits in range and set you on Burning. Warriors will knock you down, and so every class has a different effect. That's quite dangerous to deal with, and the most dangerous effects in general is the removal of enchantments from the mesmers and necros. That's why we really want to avoid enchantments. So when you take a look at this team build, there aren't so many enchantments. There is of course Judge's Intervention, but it's mainly on minions, so it doesn't really count. There's Trance of Honor, that's on you. It gets removed regularly as soon as you kill an enemy mesmer or necro because you're standing right beside them. It's Masochism and AotL. It's a little sad to see these removed, but hey, it doesn't really matter, it's more for the instant effect. And there's only one more enchantment, and that's Boot of Creation. It's really sad to see that one removed, but honestly, it's fine. It's okay. You're not too susceptible to enchantment removal, and you have quite decent setup against enemy conditions. In particular, because you run 3 spirits here, you run 3 spirits here, and you get 2 more, so you have 8 spirits. So when you are fully set up, Mind, Body and Soul will heal you and remove 8 conditions. You have 3 ritualists, necro ritualists with Mind, Body and Soul, so they spam it all the time, and there shouldn't be too many conditions on your team. Hex remove is given with Smite Hex, with Shatter Hex and Hex Eater Signet. Most of the time it's enough. Sometimes when there's a lot of mesmers, you'll have to deal with Visions of Regret on you or your hero line, or with Empathy. It's a little annoying, but you can't really take too much more hex remove because ritualists as secondary profession are really limited in that way. So what you want to do when fighting Afflicted on every enemy here in general, you want to go for the big balls first. That's because the casters are balled most of the time, especially when you take care to pull them when they are balled. I'll show that in one of the first videos. So Splinter Weapon and the other AoE we have, especially Panic, Ineptitude, all those good elites, Pain of Disenchantments, Mob, Cracked Armor, all that stuff deals huge amount of damage. So even though if there's a monk, you don't want to go for that monk first if there's a ball of 4 enemies standing right beside him, because you deal much more damage when going for that. In general, you want to kill mesmers, necromancers, monks and ritualists in the beginning. Monks, ritualists and necros because they are heal most of the time. The ritualists have a bar with Signet of Spirits. It's really annoying because they put up Armor of Unfeeling, so these spirits are nearly invincible. But then they don't have heal, so that's a plus. The monks are smiting, usually you're smiting prayers, so there are Roys coming your way. You don't want to stand in that, but that's pretty obvious. And yeah, the enemy melees are not too strong most of the time. The warriors and the assassins are quite easy to ignore. The rangers have frenzy most of the time, so they explode in AoE. You don't have to pay too much attention to them. Of course, finish them off in the end, but they are not too dangerous. Maybe 2 more words to my interface I'm using. I'm using 3 different text mods. I'm using one text mod to make my UI a little shiny. You know, you may have noticed it's a little black. That's the Dark Glass UI. I'll put a link in the description. I use a text mod to put 50% and 90% markers to all the health bars. Like you can see here in the party list, there's always a 50 to 90% health bar. I'm just used to playing with that. It's quite nice to play. Since I play with Finish Him, it's in no way necessary. It's just a little more comfortable. I use a spirit range, which is just completely pointless because I'm not running any spirits in my OMA. And this is a in-game timer, not connected to any form of toolbox or anything. I'll keep my videos quite simple. I won't use third-party programs, and if I can avoid it, I won't use drastic measurements like Tengu summoning stones. I'll try to stick to standard stuff like, for example, the legionnaires or the celestial summoning stones, and most of the time I'll just use Essence of Celerity and some personal pecons. So yeah, in the beginning you saw the country map. If you are looking for a certain video, you can check it out there, or you can go to the description if you know the name. Good luck!